What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new video. In this video we're going to be analyzing a new article that was posted around a week ago on the page Farmers Weekly. Before we get started, I just want to ask you to please subscribe and turn that notification button on so you're aware when these videos are uploaded. It also helps my channel a lot and I really appreciate it. So today's vegan takedown video consists of the article that is called 8 Reasons Why Becoming Vegan is the Wrong Choice. And I repeat, this was posted on Farmers Weekly. So let's go through it together and see what they're going to say. It starts off by saying if the current global crisis has been a time to think about food and those who produce it, it should also be a time for some of us to rethink how we can really help. For some, changing to a vegan diet may seem like an obvious choice to save the planet or animals, but it's the wrong choice. And here are 8 reasons why. Gotta love the very objective start. So to begin with, the time that we are living in right now, the global crisis we have is not making us think about who is producing food. It's making us think about the food that we are producing. It has been shown over and over again that the majority of pandemics are caused by eating animals. Actually, 3 out of 4 pandemics are caused from eating animals. So yeah. Anyway, let's see what they're gonna say. The first reason they claim is mutuality. Man has always lived in a mutually beneficial relationship with animals. It's a contract. We provide for them, they provide for us. Someone who cares deeply for an animal and then puts it in the food chain for our benefit is not a monster. People who think we're beyond that because we live in the rich, overfed world insult those who don't agree. Alright, so to begin with, this point claims that there's a mutuality in this and it's beneficial on both sides. This is factually wrong. Actually, the animals are not benefiting from anything. When you claim that it's because you're giving them food, well, you brought them into existence in the first place by sexually assaulting them and impregnating them and making them breed.
That's a fact.
It's a contract? No, it's not. When there's a contract and it's a good contract, both parties sign willingly. I'm pretty sure that the animals are not in any place to willingly sign a contract where they are saying that their lives belong to others and they are nothing but commodities. We provide for them, they provide for us. This is the point that I said earlier. The only reason you are providing for them is because you want to get something out of them. And when you say they provide for us, again, no animal willingly provides anything for you. Everything that you get from an animal is you stealing from that animal. Cows don't provide milk for you. Cows provide milk for their babies. You take their babies away and then you take the milk and sell it to human beings who don't need that milk. Chickens don't provide eggs for you. Chickens lay eggs as a part of their reproductive system and you take that away from them and also put them in factory farms or even what you call free-range farms where you can still put up to 16,000 chickens in one shed. And if that wasn't the case, as I have mentioned in my previous video, there's nothing ethical about consuming eggs, even if it comes from the most peaceful and beautiful life-living chicken. Let's check the second reason. Dependency. The survival of huge numbers of people in the world depends on animals for food, clothing, fuel, and transport. Their economies and cultures are based on it. We are not superior to them. What's more, importing their commodities gives us a lifestyle that is a luxury by their standard and is not defensible. If you depend on someone, that is not in any way an argument that what you're doing is moral. A lot of countries used to depend on slaves, but that doesn't mean slavery was moral. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not in any way comparing human slaves to non-human animals, but it's the same mindset. If you believe that just because you rely on someone else, then you can get away with whatever you're doing to them. That same mindset does not apply in the other example. Therefore, it's not in any way justified. The survival of huge numbers of people doesn't only rely on the animal agriculture industry. In fact, there's many other industries, such as the drug industry and the weapon industry and many other industries that cause suffering and destruction in this world. That doesn't in any way justify what these industries consist of. Then it also says that their economies and cultures are based on it. Well, appealing to culture or tradition is not really a way to justify something. If anything, it's a logical fallacy. Therefore, you cannot really justify your immoral acts by appealing to tradition or culture. And when it comes to economy, same thing as I said before, some people rely on selling drugs, some people rely on sex slave trade. And just because their economy is relying on that doesn't in any way justify what they're doing to the victims. Sustainability. This is an interesting one. Our consumption of the world's resources and our environmental footprint are massive compared with the people I've been talking about. Unless we really live off the grid, everything we do contributes. Eating soya instead of meat doesn't change that, quite the opposite. They have no shame. When it comes to sustainability, the animal agriculture industry has been proven over and over again to be one of the leading causes of greenhouse gas emissions, climate change, deforestation, species extinction, water depletion, and soil erosion. How is this in any way sustainable? When you talk about eating soy instead of meat, well, to begin with, just because you're vegan doesn't mean you have to eat soy. Second of all, when it comes to soy, and the reason why it's so destructive is because the 70 billion land animals that farmers are breeding into existence, a lot of them rely on eating soy-based products. That is why when it comes to the Amazon rainforest, the number one cause of deforestation, you guessed it right, animal agriculture. What about the soy that is produced there? When it comes to the Amazon rainforest, up to 80% of the soy is actually used to feed animals, and this is coming from a study done by the Yale School of Forestry and Environmental Issues. When it comes to the United States, 70% of soy production is actually used to feed the animals that non-vegans are eating. The Amazon rainforest fires just a few months ago were also caused by animal agriculture. Farmers admitted that themselves. They have to make room for cattle grazing and for more land to grow plants on to feed it to the 70 billion land animals that non-vegans are eating every single year. But again, let's not forget, just because you're vegan doesn't mean you have to eat soy. Next point, responsibility. Kind of ironic, don't you think? We are what we eat. Yes. How can it be wrong to eat something produced where we can see it, raised on grass, water and sunshine, and right to eat something highly processed and flavored made from imported products? Do we know how it was grown, its carbon footprint, or how good for us it is? They really have no shame. Alright, let's start from the beginning. We are what we eat. You should have stopped here. You just showed why what you're doing is wrong. But let's continue. How can it be wrong to eat something produced where we can see it? Can you see it? Can you actually see slaughterhouses? Can you walk into a slaughterhouse and watch how they're killing animals? No. Not only can you not see it, it's actually in a lot of countries against the law. And if you do enter a slaughterhouse to film it, to take photos, you will be treated as a terrorist when you go to court. And yes, this is by law. It's called the Ag law. Do your research. Raised on grass, really? Up to 95% of the animals that are being killed for food are not raised on grass. They are in factory farms. And if you want to talk about sustainability, factory farms are much more sustainable than raised on grass cows. Why? Because it takes much more time for your organic grass-fed cow to grow to the age of slaughter than it does when it comes to animals who are born and raised in factory farms. Water and sunshine. Yeah, okay. I mean, let's imagine that 100% of the animal population was being killed after being raised on grass, water, and sunshine. How does that in any way justify? If you are going to claim that these animals are happy, how can you justify taking the life of a happy animal? Just because you don't want to eat something else. Now, what do you claim that something else is? Highly processed and flavored, made from imported products food. Highly processed. Have you ever had an apple, a banana, rice, beans, potatoes, veggies, nuts, seeds, legumes? How are they processed? You can get all of these as whole foods. Again, this is kind of an indirect straw man where they're acting like when it comes to veganism, the only thing you eat is processed food, such as, I don't know, vegan hot dogs or something. Well, that's not the case. I actually don't even remember when was the last time I had something like that, but a vegan diet doesn't have to be highly processed food made from imported products. Are you serious? With all the animal products that are shipped around the world, talking about carbon footprint, when animal agriculture is one of the leading causes of greenhouse gas emissions, cows alone emit so much methane, a gas that is up to 100 times worse than CO2 when once in the air. Between 13 and 18% of greenhouse gas emissions is caused by the animal agriculture industry. In fact, there was a study a few years ago at the Harvard University where they were checking different diets and their impact on the environment. This was the biggest study of its kind. Made the main researchers say that going vegan is probably the best thing you can do for the environment, more than buying an electric car or reducing your flights. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. Forget science. Farmers Weekly, that's where it's at. real scientific facts. No one can contradict them.
Nobody knows it better.
Nobody knows what it means.
There's no research showing the opposite. Just believe what they're saying. Health.
Ready for this?
What we eat now isn't unhealthy. We just eat too much and we don't eat a balanced diet. Meat is part of a balanced diet, as is fish and dairy. Switching to a plant-based diet is not the answer. If you are concerned about where our food comes from, let's buy local and eat seasonal. We won't get fooled either. When it comes to health, a whole foods plant-based diet is actually the only diet that can cure, prevent, or completely reverse heart disease, the #1 killer of human beings in this day and age. What is causing heart disease? Eating animal products, you guessed it. But, as I said again, no research showing that. There's nothing proving that right. Listen to Farmers Weekly. Now, I'm not gonna lie about anything here because I don't need to, but you can eat meat and still be healthy if you eat it probably like once a month. But again, veganism is not about health. Veganism is a anti-oppression stance when it comes to animal exploitation. You can be vegan and be unhealthy. You can be vegan and eat processed foods all the time. But that is not going to be healthy. But at the same time, it is also scientifically proven that you can be healthy by being vegan and eating a whole foods plant-based diet and a balanced vegan diet. Individualism. We think we're standing up for ourselves and the planet, but we're being taken for a ride. Supermarkets, advertisers, fitness gurus, trendy restaurants, and cookery book writers love what we are doing. We're the new market, and they will take every penny we have as for helping the environment. Wow. Talk about victimhood. You are not standing for yourself, you are standing up for the animals, because that's what this is about. It's not about buying the latest vegan cookbook. It's not about going to the trendy restaurant. It's not about any fitness gurus. It's literally about not killing animals in the 21st century when we know that we don't have to eat animals to survive and thrive. Conservation. The countryside we love is not maintained by people with mowers and shares. It is grazed by animals. We couldn't grow anything but grass on 2/3 of it. Why not take a free resource and use it to feed people and store carbon, while looking after the landscapes, habitats, and species we value so much, not to mention what's under our feet. Looking after the landscapes, says the industry that is the #1 cause of deforestation. Looking after species, says the industry that is one of the leading causes of species extinction. Why? To begin with, because of all the forests that are being destroyed to have your animals grazing there. Second of all, because as I said in my previous video, if you'd like to watch it, just click on this card. The animal agriculture industry is actually responsible for millions of deaths of wildlife. Why? Because they are seen as a threat to livestock. Soil. Now that we've seen the results of years of large-scale arable cropping, we want to get animals back on the land. It's not just about grass. The soil under animals' hoovers benefits hugely from all these micro-processes involving grazing, treating, and recycling of nutrients that billions of flora and fauna depend on. Livestock are life. You are literally murdering livestock. For you, it is not life to the point that you call it livestock. It's nothing but a commodity. It's used as resources. These are sentient beings. These are other animals we're talking about, not some stock. When you talk of all the plantations that are so bad for the soil, let's remember that the majority of those plantations are actually used as food to the animals that you're killing. When it comes to soil degradation, well, according to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, nearly 20 million acres of arable land is lost each year due to desertification, and the primary reasons are deforestation due to cultivation of crops and pasture, overgrazing from livestock, and intensive farming stripping away nutrients in soil. And according to the United Nations Decade for Deserts and the Fight Against Desertification, nearly 20% of the degrading land globally is cropland and 20 to 25% rangeland, understanding that over 70% of the global arable land used for agriculture is planted for crops grown for livestock. There is the ample support for the statement that animal agriculture is the leading driver for approximately 1/3 of the land lost on Earth due to desertification. That being said, don't take my word for it. Forget the science, forget all the data, forget all the studies, forget the United Nations, forget the numbers. Farmers Weekly, your best source of facts.
What is wrong with these people?
Well, what else do you expect from an industry whose biggest enemy is transparency and education? That being said, thank you so much for watching. Dear Farmers Weekly, You're welcome. I'm gonna ask you again to like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section below if you want to tell me what you think about this article, or if you want me to do a commentary on another one. If you want to support this channel and my activism, please click on my website and check out the support page, or go to ethics-over-habits.com to buy vegan products and zero waste vegan products, all ethically made using organic materials, including this t-shirt. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.